Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Vaccines will not be mandatory, but those refusing could be paid differently, warns Wholeness. Despite growing hesitancy worldwide and relatively low take-up by Jamaicans' essential workers so far, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has sought to assure that his government will not make it mandatory for Jamaicans to get vaccinated against COVID-19. However, with the push to reopen schools, which have been shuttered for the past 16 months, teachers who are unvaccinated could be in for different treatment than their vaccinated colleagues, Wholeness warned on Monday. Among other things, they could be subjected to COVID-19 testing to ensure they are coronavirus-free. The Prime Minister also hinted that unvaccinated teachers could be paid differently from their vaccinated colleagues, although he said discussions are to be held with the teachers, most likely through the Jamaica Teachers Association. We are not going to make the vaccine mandatory for them, but at the same time, we have to consider that teachers who are vaccinated, who turn up to work, that they are treated in some preferential way, and those who don't turn up to work, we may have to ask them to be tested, and we may have to be considering what should happen regarding how they are paid, Holness said as he responded to questions from the journalist during a Jamaica House press conference. He used the press conference to announce a retightening of the COVID protocols that were relaxed in June, as the country has in recent days been experiencing a sharp uptick in coronavirus cases. Holness warned that the measures could be tightened further on August 11 when they are up for review, as the aim of the government is to ensure schools are reopened in September. Hundreds of thousands of students have not had face-to-face classes since March 13, 2020, when classrooms shuttered. That was 3 days after Jamaica recorded its first COVID-19 case. Since then, the country has confirmed more than 52,000 cases and over 178 deaths. Meanwhile, massive demonstrations have been staged in countries like France, where the government is enacting legislation that will make it mandatory for citizens to be vaccinated in order to access certain services. Some states in the United States of America are moving to make it mandatory for healthcare and other essential workers to take the vaccine. In some instances, unvaccinated workers have been told that they will have to do a regular COVID-19 test at their own expense. In life, in death, Julian Ruby Powell and Omisha Vernon Clonis began yesterday morning as usual, seeing their husbands off to work. However, about 6 a.m., both women became widows. The men, 38-year-old warehouse manager Adrian Powell of West Village, Montego Bay, and his 33-year-old assistant Mark Clonis of Montpello, who worked together at the Royalton Hotel in Trelawney, died after the Toyota Corolla car in which they were traveling collided with an Audi motor car on Iron Shore Main Road. The pain of losing their husbands was obviously on the faces of both women when they went to the Coral Gardens police station in St. James. Ruby Powell recalled that on Sunday, she and her husband celebrated the 5th birthday of their son, even as a construction worker was carrying out some work on their house. I asked Adrian what next he's going to do on the house and stuff like that, the grief-stricken wife reported. With tears streaming down her cheeks, Ruby Powell, who had to be supported by a friend who gave her name as Anne, reflected that she had not interacted with her husband much in the morning as he was rushing off to work early. He said he had to leave early, so he's off to work. We didn't have much interaction because he was leaving out and I just got up, Ruby Powell stated. Vernon Clonis also recounted that her husband, whom she described as a devoted family man and worker, had also left home in a rush. He never drinking tea. I woke up early and I said, "Babe, drink a tea." And he said, "I have to go to work." He never missed a day at work. A good family man. I lost him, she said, her face itched with grief. We have been together for 13 years and married for 6 years, and he was a good father and a good worker, she added. Vernon Clonis, who had to be comforted by her mother and a minister of religion, said the country has lost 2 good men. We have 2 children, a son and a daughter. What am I going to tell my 2-year-old? She is the splitting image of him. She looked exactly like him. I don't even have the strength to go into the classroom September, lamented Vernon Clonis, who is an educator. Ruby Powell's friend Anne said she was shocked at the news of the fatal crash. So sad, I am in total shock. I can't believe it. The Powells are just ready to establish their lives. They have been married for about 4 years now. It is so sad. I am still in shock, so I just imagine the pain that she is going through, but I am here for her, she said. Police reported that both men were taken to hospital where they succumbed to their injuries while undergoing treatment. The lone occupant of the Audi motor car reportedly received minor injuries. The St. James police are investigating. Westmoreland businessman shot dead. A man is dead and another left nursing gunshot wounds following a shooting incident at Cave in Westmoreland on Tuesday. Dead is Sheldon Kilborn, a 41-year-old businessman and owner of Cave Block Factory. Reports from residents are that shortly after 3 p.m. they heard about 10 explosions and then a bike sped off with men in masks. Sheldon was said to be working at his block-making business when the incident happened. According to reports, the workers at the factory ran to safety after seeing their boss' lifeless body. The deceased wife, Paula, reported that she heard the shots and told her daughter to close the door. Shortly after, she said she got a call from a friend who told her that her husband was shot. By the time we run down near the factory, he was already dead, she recalled. A way him coulda do so. He's so calm, such a calm man, she lamented. The wife added that Sheldon was a well-known businessman and he acquired the name Pastor because he would oftentimes preach to the committee members. The identity of the injured man is not yet known. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.